A few weeks ago, I was in a car with my wife, and somehow our conversation drifted into one single word, and the word was time. And it took me straight back to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1, when it says this, that to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Now, when I think about this scripture, there's so much packed into that one liner. And so I want to ask you this question. What do you think Solomon really mean? Because when we think about it, the opening line in Ecclesiastes verse 3, verse 1 sounds much bigger than I actually thought in the first place. When he says that to everything there is a season, Solomon isn't simply telling us that time exists. He is saying that every single thing in your life, not only being born and dying, I would say, but your season of grief, laughter, if you're war, if you're peace, if you're in silence, or if you're speaking, every season, every one of them has been given as own set time by God. Nothing in your life is random. Your time isn't just one long blank stretch where you can do anything whenever you want or whenever you feel like it. It's divided, it's ordered, it's appointed. You don't get to write your own timing, but your life isn't chaos either. And underneath everything you're working through, there's a rhythm set by God, moving towards your purpose and His divine purpose, even when you can't see it from where you're standing. Which actually kind of bring me to the next question. If all time is divided, ordered, and appointed as I just said, how precious does I make it? Is the answer. And it's actually the heart of the whole message, the whole one-liner. That's exactly what makes it precious. Not despite of the limits, but because of them. If time never runs out, nothing you did or you did with it would really matter. You could always leave it for tomorrow because tomorrow would always come. But that's not how it works, isn't it? Every season has a beginning and every season has an end. Your season eventually runs out. James said plainly in this. He says that our life is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. And as a matter of fact, the book of Ecclesiastes is even more blunt with it when he says that there is no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you are going. Once the season is over, the chance to act is gone. The fact that our time is measured actually isn't a cage. It's actually the very thing that gives every single day its value. And the truth is that that's exactly where putting things off becomes so dangerous. Procrastination, for example, is a quiet little lie. Procrastination whispers, say things like, don't worry, there will be another time. But Solomon never promised that. He said that there is a time, a specific window for each purpose. And here's the hard part. If you miss that window, you don't just delay the purpose, you can actually lose it altogether. Think of the lazy man in the book of Proverbs, for example, who he folded his hand to rest just a little, and poverty creeps up on him like a robber. That wasn't because he refused to work, but because he kept assuming there was still time. What about the 10 virgins in Matthew 25, for example? They weren't shut out because they had no oil. They were shut out because they went to get it after the door had already closed. The season has moved on, and they were still getting ready for the one before it. The truth is, that's the way of what God has handed us. Free choice. He appoints the season, but He puts the day inside it into our hand, and then He asks us, what did you do with them? When we look at the book of Ephesians tells us to live wisely, redeeming the time. That means literally buying back the time, because the days are evil. You can only redeem something that can be lost. And Paul says it again when he says, behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. No later, now. If our time were unlimited, putting things off would cost us nothing. But because every purpose had its appointed time, delay is never neutral. Lost time is actually the only thing you can never get back. You can't get back your lost time, and you can never bargain with. So be a good steward isn't only about being busy or productive, it's about realizing that the door of the season you're in won't stay open forever. So I would say this: if God has spoken into your life, don't wait for a better moment. Don't wait for a more convenient time. This is your season. This is your moment. And I would just advise you just to step in faith, knowing that God has appointed this time for you. God bless you.